Why, hello there. Today I'm going to ask you to revise your capstone opinions from yesterday. You did a beautiful job. What a wonderful start. And now I'm just going to ask you to go back and let's make them the best work you can do. And so there's 3 steps, and I'm going to walk you through the 3 steps. First thing you're going to do is make sure it has all the ingredients that you need. Okay? Second step, you're going to go back and edit. And then the third and easiest step is you are going to label your Padlet correctly. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is make sure it has all the ingredients. Now, you know the response ingredients. You should be able to say them with your eyes closed. You probably dream about them. I've been doing them all year. And guess what? I've made it even simpler. Here's the simplified response ingredients. Basically, it boils down to you absolutely need these 3. Now, the transitional language and the wrap up, those are really nice, but your responses absolutely have to have these 3. They have to have a quick opinion. Okay. They have to have a quick opinion. They have to have evidence, and they have to explain the evidence or this shows, right? And then it'd be really nice if they had an awubis. So now I picked 3 responses that were on your Padlets, and I'm going to look at them for the response ingredients. And as I read them, I want you to notice too. Okay. This one comes from James. I think that refugees have hard lives. Boom. Purple. He absolutely has it. That is an opinion, that refugees have hard lives. Perfect. So that one he can check. I think that because when someone has to flee their country and know that they will never be able to ever go back. So he's saying that they have to flee their country. Oh, wrong color. This is evidence. He's saying their lives are hard because they have to flee their country and know they can't come back. Another reason why I think refugees have hard lives is because most refugees are kids. It's interesting. And most kids lose their parents and they have to live with no parents. Wow. And then they will also have to stop being a child and leave those years behind and sometimes become an adult. Finally, I think that refugees have hard lives because they are forced to leave their home, and if they don't, then they will die from the war. Okay, that's actually, I think, a little bit of evidence too. So he absolutely has a quick opinion and evidence. And I feel like, does he have some explanation, right? I feel like, and then they will have to stop being a child and leave those years behind and become an adult. I feel like that's an explanation. Now, if I were working with James in person, I would say, could you put any statistics, right? I would say, your evidence is cool, but it kind of sounds like opinions. Like here, could you say like how many are kids? I feel like that would be a great thing. Like 64 million refugees are kids. Or could you give an example of someone who left their home and never came back? So he has evidence, but I would like his evidence to be like harder, like an actual example or an actual statistic. Okay? But it's good. And another thing I would love is if he could work an awubis in. Could James go, because of war and violence, comma, refugees face more obstacles than we do, something like that. Or although countries are willing to help refugees, comma, their lives are still difficult in their new country, something like that. Like, isn't this made for an awubis? So James, beautiful job, beautiful. But do you see how you have some revision here? you could add some harder evidence, and you could definitely put in an awubis, okay? And maybe a little more explanation, but definitely some harder evidence, like an example or a statistic, and then a little awubis. All right. Are you starting to get an idea what I want you to do, the rest of you? Okay. Now, let's look at Kellen's. Okay. So let me get out my pen, and first we're looking for an opinion. What I think is that sinkholes can be very beautiful in some places, but they are very dangerous. They can kill people. Okay, so I think that's his opinion, right? Okay, so I think his quick opinion is sinkholes can be beautiful, but they can be dangerous or kill people. Why I think that is because it said that sinkholes in China was very dangerous and it swallowed up 2 buildings. So I think this is his evidence, right? Also, some homes and people get swallowed up without warning. Okay, so more evidence. In addition, cars fall into them when they open up on roadways. Oh, okay. So he's giving us a lot of reasons that sinkholes can be dangerous. Although they can be very nice and look like swimming holes when they are in the forest, they are still very dangerous. And if you see sinkholes with water in it, don't just go swimming, as those are even more dangerous, because how do you know what would happen if only a little bit of weight could make it fall down and you could die? Okay, so I think he's trying to prove that they look beautiful but can still be dangerous. I think he's trying to prove that. Okay. So this is what I would say to Kellen. He absolutely has evidence. He has an opinion. And I actually think this is probably explanation, right? This section down here. I think he's probably explaining that they might look beautiful, but they are dangerous. Similar to James, could he give a hard fact down here? I like that these are actual examples, but could he maybe tell us how deep are these sinkholes? Could he tell us an average of feet? Or could he give us a scientific fact? Are sinkholes always shifting? You know? Give us some sort of scientific fact about sinkholes here. Although they can be very nice and look like swimming holes when they are in the forest, they are still very dangerous. And if you see sinkholes with water in it, don't just go swimming, as those are even more dangerous. Maybe there he could say, according to scientists, sinkholes are never stable. The earth around them is always moving. Or be like, the minerals eat away at the earth. And so you never know if the earth around a sinkhole is stable. Something that sounds like a fact, that came from a scientist, I think would really help here. And then, of course, could he put in a woobus? Oh, heck yeah, he could. Right? If you happen to see a sinkhole, be very cautious, because you never know if it is stable. Or, although sinkholes can be beautiful, they always presented danger because they can shift at any moment. Do you see how almost any of these awubuses would work here? So I think Kellen just needs one more piece of hard evidence down on the last part of his response, and then maybe an awubus in there to amp it up a little bit. Okay, so let's move on. Our third one is we have Olivia. Okay, so let me get my purple pen ready. Many animals are getting hurt or killed by plastic pollution. Okay. Very clear topic sentence. You are probably thinking, how do they not know where the plastic is? Well, some animals like sea turtles think that plastic bags are actually jellyfish, so they eat them. Oh, interesting. I feel like that's definitely evidence, right? That sea turtles think plastic bags are jellyfish. Quoted from an article, in just 1 week from bottled water alone, the U.S. produces enough discarded bottles to circle the planet 5 times. I like this, that she shows us like how much like plastic we produce. As you can tell, people, we need to start making a difference. So on Olivia's, I see the quick opinion and I see 2 pieces of evidence. But what I don't see and what would really make this response jump is an explanation, right? Like here. This shows that sea creatures are in danger because they don't know what is natural and what is not natural, or something like that, right? And then here, okay, Olivia, you told us that we produce enough plastic to circle the world 5 times. That's beautiful evidence. It's beautiful evidence. But why does it prove this opinion? Why does it prove this opinion? That many animals are getting hurt or killed? You didn't explain why. You just said there's a lot of plastic. So why does it prove that? It does. But you have to explain it. You have to say, this shows there is so much plastic, like littered in the oceans and in our natural habitats, that it's inevitable that like definitely animals are going to run across it. Okay. But you have to explain why your evidence supports that opinion. But great job giving 2 pieces of like actual evidence. So kind of what I was asking James and Kellen to do, Olivia already did. She already has 2 pieces of like, boom, facts. But she really needs to add in explanation. Okay. And then couldn't she get an Awubis in here? Right? Even maybe as her explanation here, guys. Because of the large amounts of plastic in the ocean, comma, animals are at great danger in their natural habitats. Mic drop. Right? Wouldn't that be hot? Oh man, she could do any of these. Like when humans produce plastic, comma, it often ends up in the ocean. You know, like there's just so, like, I'm just thinking off the top of my head here, but there's so many ways she could add an Awubis in. All right. Okay, the next step, once you've added the ingredients in, the next step you need to do is make sure you edit. Now, you will remember this. Remember our no excuses checklist? You need to use this, okay? You need to use this and go through your response and make sure that you reread what you wrote. Then you put in a yes, right? Did I use capital letters at the start of a sentence? Did I use capital letters for proper nouns? Did I use periods or other punctuation? Did I spell basic words correctly? Did I put 2 spaces after each period? Am I missing any words or letters? Do my sentences make sense? For the most part, the 3 responses I read were edited, for the most part. But there's a few spots where maybe there isn't a period in the right spot, right? Or maybe a sentence is like a little funny. So they could use the no excuses checklist and just fix it up a little bit. Say 5 minutes and these 3 will be fixed perfectly. And then finally, you are going to label your Padlet. Okay, I showed you this in the original video, but I've noticed some of you didn't. And it'll just make it easier because we're going to do these every 3 days. So let me show you what I mean. Okay, so we're back on James's Padlet. And so what I like about James's Padlet is that he made his own column, which he didn't need to do. He could have put his response here with his flip grids. You know, it says flip grids and written responses. But he chose not to. He chose to put him in a category called My Opinion on Refugees, which is great. But since you're going to write 3, 4, 5, or 6 of these, each opinion needs to be labeled. So what I want you to do is go to your response, click the 3 dots, hit edit, post, and in title, I want you to say like something like Capstone response number 1. That way, we can keep them apart, right? Or Capstone opinion number 1. You can choose the title, but I want it labeled, and then you click off and it's saved. All right, so those are the 3 things that I'm asking you to do. Make sure it has all the ingredients, edit, and label. Now, I think this video is about 16, 17 minutes. I think this activity should take you 30. I don't have a lot of work for you today, so I really, 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 really want you to spend your time on this, okay? I want this assignment to just be some of your best work. This is going to be such a huge part of your capstone project. It's taking everything you've learned and putting it together. Okay, good luck to you. Text me if you need help.